guys, what's up? We're back. Today we're going to be talking about the whole update on the Benji and JeyJey situation, because some stuff has came out. The victim has supposedly lied about some of the stuff that came out, even though Benji admitted to doing it. And I'm just going to talk about what JeyJey said on Twitter about it. Before we get into this video, again, I want to say there is a trigger warning on the video of mentions of suicide, grooming, pedophilia, and everything like that. So if you're sensitive to those topics, please click off, because this is not the video for you. I also want to mention, I'm sorry if my voice sounds like a little bit raspy or a little bit like crispy. It is currently 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm trying to get this voiceover done before I get the video out, and I'm a little bit tired. I've been a little bit busy this week, but I'm sorry if my voice sounds like a little bit gross, a little bit raspy, or anything like that. I'm trying to get the video done. So the popular YouTube channel Def Noodle, who covers a lot of drama or situations like these, has talked about it on Twitter, as well as made a video about it. He's made a few Twitter threads on it and has more information than me, so if you want to look more into detail on the situation, then I do suggest checking out his video. But I'm just going to be covering what the basis of it is, what the victim said on Twitter, and then what JeyJey in return said on Twitter. So in the first tweet of the thread, he stated, "Benji and I didn't speak often. He only began speaking to me because he knew JeyJey was speaking to me. Benji never once sent me nudes. I spoke to him sexually many times and also sent him a nude photo with no warning without his consent. Benji could have acted on this, but he didn't. While he ignored my actions, he still could have stopped speaking to me." So it's Benji's fault that you sexually harassed him multiple times, sent him nudes without asking, and unconsensually talked sexually to him, when it's pretty relevant that he wasn't interested in you multiple times, and that's his fault because he was trying to be nice to you? Okay. And in the second screenshot of the thread, he stated, "At the beginning of it all, I was angry and pressured by my friends to make a statement. What Benji and George did was wrong, and I wanted to expose to everyone what they did. But I thought simply posting about the FaceTime accusations would not be enough to gain attention. So my friends convinced me to lie. I know doing this can be very harmful to many other victims who struggle with going forward with their assaulters, and I'm sorry. My friends and I just said if I did not lie, then the statement would not get enough attention. I apologize for my action. Please do not use this as an example of other victims, and always believe the victims." Personally, to me, this sounds like a bunch of bullshit. They knew what they did. They knew that they lied. They did it on purpose for attention, and they're making it out to seem basically that all victims are liars like that, which makes everybody's situation much worse. What's the point of being lying about being groomed if you're not actually being groomed? Because there are victims out there who are scared to speak out just because of people like this, because they're scared that they're going to be told that they're lying because of people like this. And they know what they did. They're apologizing for it, but at the first, they did it in the first place. They lied about it. They knew that they lied about it. They even discussed it with their friends that they lied about it. In the third screenshot of the victim's statement, they said, "Firstly, I want to admit to manipulating my original statement and lying. I handled everything in a way that I should not have. Everything should have been handled in a private. I regret bringing this up to the public due to overwhelming negative outcome. I feel horrible about the aftermath of my actions since I never realized it would become so big. I have mutual friends with Benji, and I can confirm that he did attempt to take his own life. That was never my intention. My only intention was to expose the truth, and I did not have said anything else other than the truth." Honestly, let's put it into perspective, because I don't think telling this person anything will be doing anything. But at the end of the day, if you crack an egg on the floor and then apologize to it, it's not going to be glued back together automatically. You have to put in the work. You have to glue it back together. You have to put the egg back in the shell, or it's going to sit there cracked on the floor and it's not going to move. Apologizing doesn't do shit if you cause a kid to basically throw away his entire life because you wanted to accuse him of grooming you. even though he literally did nothing wrong, and you manipulated the entire subject. You turned the entire internet away from him and made it look like he was a horrible person. Anyways, let's get back to this thread. Last tweet says, I am sure many of you know the allegations I made against Benji and JeyJey. My previous account has been suspended due to synthetic and manipulated media, quote unquote. I've had some weeks off on the internet to process the entire situation as well as Benji and JeyJey's apology. I wanted to make a final statement and come clean about some new information. If you didn't know what happened originally, Def Noodles has a good video on it, and I have a video on it on my account that shows what happened between Benji and JeyJey once they were accused, if you want to check either one out. This will be my last comment on everything. I will provide proof in this thread that proves that I am the original victim, which they did. They also provided screenshots and everything like that. There's a lot of screenshots, but bear with me for this. I want to finally say once again, I'm sorry. I did not use my interpretation of other victims. The only part Benji had in all of this was a FaceTime call. He never sent me nudes. He never spoke to me sexually. He never groomed me. I should have stuck to the truth from the beginning, but I knew if I wanted to expose them both, I had to make it seem like it was such a bigger thing than it was. I shouldn't have lied, and I apologize to Benji and all of the victims that were involved. Stay with me because this is the last public statement that we have from the victim other than the screenshots. After lots of thoughts and self-reflection, I forgive Benji and accept his apology. I accept the apologies he gave me months ago before the situation was public, and I'm accepting his public apology as well. He never groomed me or spoke to me in malicious intentions. Although we rarely spoke, he was actually a good friend. And that's why you made grooming accusations towards him that made him almost end his own life and turned the internet against him. Okay. Anyways, continuing on with the statements, I should have told Benji that I was uncomfortable and talked about it with him when he initially asked me if I was okay and apologized to me, but instead I let my emotions get the best of me, manipulated the public, and spread false accusations. As for JeyJey, I believed he was in the wrong for what he did to me and Benji, but I believe he can change and learn from this. Hopefully he can get help and become a better person. Here's some of the screenshots just showing how Benji typically talked to him on an everyday basis. These were posted from the victims, quote-unquote victims, Twitter account, their second Twitter account, because again their first one got suspended for manipulating and everything like that. Either Benji or George has replied to the statement that was put out of the quote-unquote second victim of their second account. I don't know if it's one victim or if it's two victims, but either way they haven't replied to either one of anything that's coming out. The only reply that they have made was to the first outing, was when Benji admitted to doing it and George basically lied about doing it. But that is the only statement that they have made so far. Just to put some background information on these screenshots that I posted earlier, it's the whole like one sentence screenshots that Benji was talking about and the victim was talking about, but the victim stated along with the tweet, quote unquote, and here's a screenshot of Benji agreeing with me that I made the conversation sexual. This should have been a major red flag and caused Benji to realize he should have stopped speaking to me. These two conversations were on March 26th after the FaceTime call. It's not really his fault that you kept turning the conversation sexual and making it uncomfortable for both parties. It's kind of your fault for doing it in the first place, and you're just looking like you're trying to victimize yourself and gaslight everybody into making it look like there's more of an issue that there was. I think you should have admitted that you made the conversation sexual, you made them uncomfortable with, again, I'm not justifying their actions at all, but you're the one who initiated it in the first place and made everybody uncomfortable. Again, I'm not justifying their actions. I'm not saying the victim didn't actually go through what they went through. They obviously were groomed into a FaceTime call by mainly George. However, the whole lying part of it is a big aspect. The whole blaming Benji for not leaving the conversation when it obviously made him uncomfortable. It's kind of iffy to me. I think it's kind of gross actions. I think it makes those victims look, I guess, stupid if you really want to put it into bold transparent terms, it just makes victims look like they don't know what they're doing. It makes them look like they're manipulating the subject. It makes them look like they're lying. I think you make victims look bad. I think you make most people who were assaulted or groomed look bad, and I don't think you should have came out in the first place. And the whole lying about it after the fact still, and trying to make Benji look like an even worse person than he was, makes you look like a bad person, and that's on you, nobody else. In case you thought it was fake in any way, any of the screenshots that I showed were fake. They were screenshots from a screen recording that actually shows Benji's account they swiped on. The screenshots are real, the victim is real, they are real. Nothing about this is fake except for the part that they obviously lied about, which I've covered multiple times. Again, I'm not justifying anything. I think it's a little bit bullshit, but everything aside from that is real. All of the screenshots were real, where Benji was obviously not into the conversation and they kept forcing them to try to turn the conversation sexual, but everything was real. And I will show the Twitter that you can read all of the threads on your own time up on there in case I skipped anything or you just want to read it by yourself or anything like that. This is the second account of the victim since the first one, quote unquote, got deleted because of manipulation, everything like that. But again, if you want to go look at the screenshots on your own time or the screen recordings or anything like that, you can go on the account. I will also link it in the description in case you want to check it out on your own time. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I don't really do updates on situations or things kind of like these. I usually just leave it at like one video, but I feel like it was important, if the victim was obviously lying, that I don't leave out false information on the internet without at least updating it in later terms and showing that Benji wasn't all in fact, guilty. They still did the FaceTime call, they still did everything like that, but he wasn't as bad as a person that a lot of people made it seem, as well as the victim made it seem. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.